First up there, let's talk to Kevin Saunders. He's former Border Force Chief Immigration Officer. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Julia.
First of all, I suppose I should ask, did you think this barge was actually a genuine story, was actually going to happen? Or are you as surprised as everyone else that actually they've done the lease, 18 months, and it is apparently going to happen?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. I think this one was always on the cards. It's a good idea in some ways because it's much cheaper to maintain the barge than to put people in hotels. 505 people on the barge. It's going to work out to about £30 per head per night against £150 per head per night in a hotel.
Yeah.
So the economics of it are well, you can't argue with the economics.
And that's it. I mean, we've got Amnesty International saying, I mean, they're saying all talk of barges, cruise ships and former military barracks should be abandoned. Anyone seeking asylum in this country should be housed in decent accommodation with proper facilities, etc. But I mean, people pay to go on cruises in worse countries. People, I mean, there are some holiday camps that people go on holiday with their children, which aren't as nice as this. I mean, prisons, most prisoners, it'd be very nice to have an ensuite accommodation, student accommodation, ensuite bathroom, I mean, shower unit and toilet, very nice. I don't remember having that when I was a student. There's a lot of sort of hysteria over the accommodation people should be put in, but I think a lot of Brits, particularly British taxpayers, will feel not really that keen on asylum seekers for whatever reason they are here, having better accommodation than, frankly, many British people paying taxes.
Yeah, you're quite right. You're quite right. The barge itself has already been used. So Amnesty International and all the other left-wing organisations have immediately forgotten that the Dutch used it for some considerable time.
Did
so?
They?
Yes, it's been used before. It's currently in Italy. It's having a little bit of a refit, and then it's going to be, I assume, towed back to the UK, to Portland. But not everybody is against it, Julia. The Port Authority have said, yeah, we're quite happy with it. So it's not everybody. And you've got to remember that the government are giving the local authority £3,500 per resident, if you like, to help with local costs as well.
But that's it. But there will be local costs, won't there? Because, look, we're not going to have the issue of, say, the pressure on schools from these young men, but we are going to have the pressure on local health services. And there is just that concern. I mean, it's very, very simple. It's like the same way as people feel about, building, new homes. We all agree we need more homes to be built, but no one wants them built at the end of their road, do they? They won't have to deal with the noise. They don't want to have to deal with the mess and seeing any, like, say, green fields being built on. But we all think they should all be built somewhere else. So even if people support this barge, they want it to happen. They don't think there's any problem with it, and it's certainly saving £6 million a day on the 51,000 asylum seekers in almost 400 hotels. This will be a drop in the ocean of the number of asylum seekers who in total, but it's a start, a lot of people will say, and it'll be publicised. Maybe it will be a deterrence. But why would anyone want this in their local area? I mean, and again, it's not because they are foreign young men. It's not because of the colour of their skin or any religious views or anything like that. It's simple. Would I like 500 young single men at the end of my road when I've got a teenage daughter? The answer is a big flat no.
No, you're quite right. But we know that they're going to put young single men on the vessel, but we don't know what sort of young single men we're getting or they're getting. Is it going to be those that have arrived illegally after the 7th of March and have no rights and are going to be removed within 28 days, if that's ever going to be possible? Or is it going to be the long-term people that would be in hotels? But if the government have only leased it for 18 months, I would suspect it's going to be the former rather than the latter.
Well, indeed. Well, they say a private security company will provide 24/7 security in order to, quote, minimise the disruption to local communities. There'll be day-to-day management. Those housed on the barge will be free to come and go, but because it's a working port, they'll have to be bussed to and from the port's entry each time they want to leave. And we're going to have a minibus service, for God's sake. If an asylum seeker is not back on site by 11 p.m, the team would call the individual to check on them, although they'd be under no compulsion to return. I mean, what could possibly go wrong, Kevin?
Yeah, when you put it like that, it does seem a little bit ridiculous. But we have this in hotels as well. They're not actually confined to the hotels. They can come and go as they please. Some will abscond, as they do from hotels, to go and work in the unregulated economy and what have you. But at the end of the day, we've got to stop putting people in hotels. We just can't afford it.
Yeah, and the impact on local economies. I mean, we see these people, they had weddings booked, for 2 years, and the hotel has been block booked for a year by the Home Office, and their wedding's been cancelled. You're trying getting another wedding venue. Local businesses losing out because if people can't come and stay. And then use local services and go in local restaurants, but it's asylum seekers. There is a massive impact, isn't there?
There is a massive impact, yes, but at the end of the day, this idea we've had, I think, in Portland Harbour, a mobile prison facility, the Class C prison boat there. So it's not exactly new, although obviously it was a prison boat, so they weren't free to come and go. But what do the British public want? Do they want 500 people in local hotels in Portland, or do they want them on this vessel? And I think the answer is probably on this vessel.
My view is all of these asylum seekers should be housed in the streets of the lefty lawyers we hear so much about, and all the Labour MPs. We're going to buy up the house next door to you, and we're going to change it into a whole load of bedsits, and we're going to house them next to you because you're so happy having all these people here, and you consider them all to be apparently these people are all budding, chemists and physicists and plumbers and brain surgeons, and such a great use to our country. They'll be happy to have them housed next door to them, won't they?
Yes, they will, and you're quite right. They won't have it. The left. We only had to listen to Kevin Saunders last night when he was saying this is awful, this shouldn't happen. Yep. But there again, they shouldn't be coming here, I'm afraid. So that's probably the answer to that. Indeed.
But of course, this barge is worse than sleeping in a camp in the freezing cold near the beaches of Calais. I'd be surprised. Kevin Saunders, he's a former Chief Immigration Officer for UK Border Force. Thank you so much.